the bride and groom, surrounded by family, by laughter, by the joy of a new beginning.
Jesus had been invited, along with his mother Mary and his disciples. They came as guests. They would leave as witnesses.
The feast was in full celebration, wine flowing, laughter rising, joy filling every corner of the hall.
But behind the celebration, the scene, a crisis was quietly unfolding. The wine had run out.
Running out of wine at a wedding, in that culture, it was not just embarrassing. It was a disgrace that could follow a family for years.
Mary noticed. Before anyone else believed, she saw the problem, and she knew exactly who to go to. Mary leaned close to her son and said simply, "They have no wine."
3 words, loaded with faith.
Mary went to the servants and said, "Whatever he tells you to do, do it."
The most powerful instruction ever given. 6 stone water jars, each holding 20 to 30 gallons, standing empty, waiting. Jesus looked at the empty jars. Then he spoke. "Fill them with water. Just water." And the servants obeyed politely, without question. They filled them to the brim, every single one. The servant lowered the ladle latit and drew out wine. The water was gone.
All 6 jars, every single one, filled with wine. Over 150 gallons of the finest wine ever tasted.
The master of the banquet tasted the wine farid and stopped. This was unlike anything he had ever tasted before.
The bride tasted it, and in that moment, both of them knew. This wedding had just become something far greater than they planned.
Mary watched, and in her heart only she treasured every moment. She had always known. Now others were beginning to see.
The disciples sat together, not fully celebrating, thinking, replaying, beginning to understand who they were following. The servant stood alone with the jars, water, then wine. He had poured in the water himself. He knew exactly what had happened.
Jesus sat with his disciples, calm, present, unhurried. The first sign had been given. The journey had truly begun.
The bride would remember this night her entire life, not knowing how close it came to disaster.
Grace had covered everything.
The village of Cana celebrated long into the night Ampiu, unaware that heaven had quietly visited them.
This celebration is beautiful, isn't it?
It truly is. A perfect reflection of their love.
6 stone jars, still full. The evidence of the miracle ori, silent, physical, undeniable. In the morning light, the disciples came back to the jars to confirm what they already knew. It was still wine. Jesus walked out of Cana the next morning, the same man he had been when he arrived. Yet everything had changed.
They could not stop talking about it. Water into wine.
They had seen it with their own eyes.
He had turned water into wine. But what he was truly doing, Kubis, was turning ordinary moments into eternal ones. The bridegroom learned the truth that morning, His wedding had been saved.
By a guest.
By a miracle he had not even known was happening.
The bridegroom stood before the 6 stone jars and tasted the wine himself.
The young bride sat with Mary that morning and listened. And what Mary told her, she would carry for the rest of her life.
They left Cana walking, but they left as different men. The first sign had been seen. The first belief had been born.
He handled the wine carefully, more carefully than he had ever handled anything, because he knew exactly where it came from. The jars were empty again, stone once more, but they had held the first miracle, and stone remembers.
The village of Cana began to talk.
Stories spread through stone streets. Something had happened here that could not be explained. He sat alone in the hall where his wedding had taken place, turning the cup in his hands. Cana of Galilee, an ordinary village, where the first miracle was born, where water became wine. They sat together in the morning, trying to understand what they had seen. Some things are too large to understand immediately. Jesus sat with them in the morning, ordinary, present, calm. The same hands that had transformed water into wine.
The master and the bridegroom stood in the empty hall, two men comparing what they knew and what they had experienced. Experience was winning. The servant told the bridegroom everything, every step. And before the stone jars, they stood as witnesses, together.
The bride sat alone with her thoughts. The wedding was over, but something had begun in her.
The world looked the same. Stone streets, market stalls, clay jars for sale. But the disciples moved through it, seeing everything differently.
Jesus walked with his mother through the village.
A son and his mother. In the middle of eternity was still present. They stood at the edge of the village, a mother and her son, both knowing what lay ahead, both choosing it anyway. They walked out of Cana into the wider world, carrying with them the first sign, the first proof, the beginning of everything.
The servant told anyone who would listen. He could not keep it inside. What he had witnessed demanded to be spoken.
She stood alone with the jars of fate, tracing the stone with her fingers. Water.
He stood.
They sat together on the road from Cana, retelling it, reliving it, letting it become real. This is how faith is.
They stood under the stars on the first night of their life together, knowing that the best had been saved.
Mary sat in the lamplight that night too, her heart full, her faith confirmed.
They woke before dawn on the road from Cana, the same road. But they were not the same men who had wings. The stone jars held water again, ordinary water, as if nothing had happened. Under the same stars that watched the miracle, Cana rests.
The cup sits on the shelf. The hall stands empty. But faith does not require the feast to continue.
When the golden light fills the old hall, something in the stone responds.
Every well, every jar of water, every glass filled.
The stones of Cana hold the night quietly, and in the quiet hay, the story lives.
Every morning, the light returns to the hall tonight, filling what is empty.
Every morning, the dew forms on the stone, water gathering again on the very jars that once held his.
In the golden hour Patsui, the stone jars seem to glow from within. The same stars watched then. The same stars watch now.
A jar by a well, waiting to be filled. This is where every miracle begins, pour with an word.
The light fades from the stone. Day ends. But the story does not end with the light.
Every dawn that comes to Canaan oven comes to the place where it began.
In the moonlit hall, the stone breathes. The silence is full.